If you are watching already, we'll get started in just a minute. I am gathering up the last of my supplies and just waiting for this to pop up in the Facebook feed. Oh, there, I see that it just showed up. Let me sort things. My table is a bit of a mess today. Good morning, neighbor. I am excited that you're here with me today. I'm working on a bridge card this morning, okay? And somebody suggested this to me and I had not heard of it before. So this is what we're working on today. And it folds flat so that it will fit in an envelope, but it also pops up so that you can stand it up like this when it's not in the envelope. Good morning, Jillian. I'm glad to see you. So this is what we're working on today. So first, if you want to, hold on one second. Sorry, the dog had grabbed a winter glove and was chewing it up and I had to take it away. Hopefully that will be our only snafu this morning, but I can't count on it. So our piece of crumb cake cardstock is where we're going to start today to make this beautiful bridge fold card. So we need a piece of cardstock that measures 8 by 4 1/4. So this side here is 8 and this side is 4 1/4. And then you're going to want to score it at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 5 1/2, and 6 3/4. Thank you. I really love this pretty garden set. Garden greenhouse, it's called. Okay, so there is our first piece folded this way. And then we need some designer series paper. And I chose this one from the Plentiful Plants designer series paper. It's actually the back of this side of paper. So we need to cut this 4 by 1. So I'm going to just put that in my trimmer. The dog is behind me here trying to eat all of my paper crafting supplies. I'm not sure why, but she loves to eat all my paper. Okay, we're going to turn these over. And add a little glue on the back. And as always, my favorite is the liquid glue. You can use any adhesive that you want. And I do a thin line around the edges and then a squiggle down the middle. And we're going to turn those over and put them right here. And if you are signed up for my email list, I will send out a PDF with all of the measurements in it for this card probably Thursday. Since I just made it up this morning, I will get it out by then. And if you haven't signed up for my email list yet, there is a spot on Facebook up near the top of my Creating in My Corner page where you can click that says, I think it says sign up. I'll have to double check that before I go live again. But I think it says sign up, and if you click there, you can sign up for my email list. All right, and now we need a piece of basic white. That is, I measured it once already, but it was the wrong size. Okay, we need it to be 4 1/8 by 3 7/8. So I am gonna cut the 3 7/8 first. And then turn it sideways. That's not right. It should be 2 7/8. I just realized that's much too big. So 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, so if you are just tuning in and you're creating along with me, we have our piece of basic cardstock. This is crumb cake. It measured 8 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 5 1/2, and 6 3/4. These are our pieces of designer series paper that measure 1 by 4. And this piece of basic white measures 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And that's going to be our background piece. We're going to set that aside for a minute. I just wanted to show you, I've already die cut using the greenhouse dies. Okay, and we've cut 2 of these. One that's basic white and one that's vellum. Okay, and we've also die cut one of this one in the crumb cake. So now we just need to use our take your pick tool and poke out all these little bits. The bigger ones are really easy to poke out. Those tiny ones take a minute. So we're gonna poke all of these out. And you could save all these little bits if you wanted to for some other project, but I did not do that my first time. I used to save every little scrap, and I found that I'm saving too much. And if I feel a little too cluttered, then I can't be as creative as I want to be. Because then sometimes I feel like I have to use up what I saved before I can move on. And I don't always want to. Sometimes I just need to move on. So I am poking out all these little bits. And you can see that it cut well. It just needs a little help getting out of its little place. Okay, I have these little ones left at the top, and that's all. Okay, there are all those little pieces. And here is our little greenhouse. I'm just going to sweep these off to the side. so they're not in the way, hopefully. All right, and then I'm gonna grab my Stamparatus and we are gonna start our stamping. So I'm gonna set this off to the side just a little bit. And we are going to place the white greenhouse down on the Stamparatus. I know I have lots of little, there are so many little bits of paper, but I'm trying really hard to cut back and get rid of some of my scraps because I don't always want to use them up. Okay, so then we're going to put our magnet down and hold it on here. And we're using the Garden Greenhouse stamp set, and we're going to use this stamp right here. So we're just going to peel that off. Carefully, right? They're really stuck on there today for some reason. And I'm going to put this down so that it goes all the way to the bottom edge, and then it kind of hangs off each side a little bit. And then I can close my plate and pick it up. And I'm going to stamp that in Mossy Meadow ink. And I forgot to, when I use my Stamparatus, I like to keep an empty stamp case or an extra stamp case and stick it off on the left. And then that plate doesn't, it's more level when I'm trying to ink it up. And we're just gonna tap on there a bunch of times and get it inked up. It doesn't look like it's quite in the middle there. I hope you can see that okay. I'm gonna put a little more ink on there. There we go. Then I'm gonna close that, close my plate, and that will give me my first set of images. And then I'm going to use my Simply Chamois to clean off my ink, clean off my stamp. And I can put that one back away. And next I'm going to get out these two little flowers right here. So one is over here. And I'm just going to stick this where the end of one of my stamped little stems is. Then my other flower is over here. And I'm going to stick that one right here on another stem. Now I can close my plate, pick those up, and this time I'm going to add some Petal Pink ink to them. I know sometimes it's nice to have all those little die cuts ready to work with, and other times they're just not what I want. I'm sure that everyone goes through that same kind of struggle. Okay, so now we've inked up our flowers and we can just stamp them down. So there's our first two. I'm going to give them a quick swipe with the chamois. And then I'm going to move them to the next little set of stems. So I'm going to put this one here. And this one over here. And just line them up so they touch the little stems. Close my plate. ink them up again. Stamp. And then there is our first image. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to take this piece and layer it up. So this vellum is going to go on the top so that it looks kind of like a window. And then we're going to layer this over the top of that. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside because we have a little more stamping to do before we move ahead to that. Okay, so those are cleaned up and we can put them back in the case. And I always try to match them up with the image so that I know which one is which. For some images, I'm sure it doesn't matter, but I like to do it that way. Thanks, Tina. I was really glad that you suggested a bridge card. Maybe I have heard of it and I just didn't remember, but I didn't remember anyways. Okay, and now we need a piece of Mossy Meadow. And this is where my little scraps will come in handy. So I'm just gonna pull one out of here. Get out of here, no. I'm trying to work with the dog down here today and she's not cooperating 100%. She was laying down very quietly until the video started. Of course. Okay, so we're going to put this piece of Mossy Meadow down, and I used this little branch here. Now she's stealing embellishments. See, she can't be trusted at all. Next time, I don't know. It's messy down here, so I can't keep her away from everything. I probably need to clean. Okay, we're gonna put this down here. And I am gonna stamp this. Just like that. And I wouldn't necessarily need to use my Stamparatus for this, but I already have it out, and so it just makes sense to keep going without changing things around too much. Okay, there is my leaf. Now I'm going to clean that stamp off. I try really hard to clean off my stamp each time so that I don't get ink all over the place without meaning to. And we'll put that one back away. And I'm going to take this over and die cut it real quick, and I will show you which one. This stamp image goes with this set. Now, not every image in the stamp set has a matching die, and some of the matching dies don't go exactly with the stamped image. So there's extra ones in there. Like these little flowers don't have a stamp. This doesn't have a stamp. So you really get a lot of images, die cuts and images, but they're not exactly the same. Okay, let me cut that. Whoops. Hush. Okay, so here is my little leaf. All right, and I did not get it exactly in the center. Can you see that? But I'm gonna use it anyway. So there's my scrap over there. And next, I'm going to put my little greenhouse together so that it can dry a little bit while I'm working on some other stuff. So in order to do this, I'm going to get out my silicone mat because the glue can be a little sticky, especially with these teeny tiny little pieces. So what I'm going to do is turn over my vellum. And get out my glue. And I'm just going to put the teeny tiniest little line around the edges. And then I'm going to stick it to here very carefully. But to pick it up, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool, just because that way I can probably keep my hands from getting too sticky. And I can line it up right along this edge. And because I'm using the liquid glue, I have just a second to adjust it before it's stuck for good. And this silicone mat, it won't stick to this silicone mat at all. She obviously doesn't like my shadow in the background. She was very upset about that, but she does like to hang out. She follows me around all the time, everywhere I go. Probably because she knows I like snacks and I happen to drop them every once in a while. Okay, so there is our first piece. And then now this is really teeny tiny to add glue to. You can buy sticker sheets and stick them onto the back of your cardstock first, and then it will cut out with it and then peel it off. But I did not order those in time for this video, so I will have to show you that a different time. For today, I'm going to just add the liquid glue like a tiny little bit here and there so that we can stick this on. And you do want to be really careful with this glue because sometimes it will come out really fast. This bottle is kind of near the end, so it doesn't come out as fast anymore. But especially when they're new, you really have to be extra careful with them. You just need the lightest little touch of glue. And this glue, actually, it's still tacky when it dries. So even the spots that dry up a little bit before you stick it down are still probably going to stick pretty well. Okay. All right, so I can take this now and line it up the same way I did before, close as I can. And remember, we can adjust it just a little bit before it sticks down permanently. So then we can just rub it around. And I just thought that turned out so pretty with the vellum in between there. Thank you, Jillian. I do try really hard, but you can do it too. I know you can. So there is our, I think that's why those sticker sheets would make it really easy. So I'm going to have to get some of those so that I can show you how they work, because they really are really cool. I saw somebody else use them. And you can also buy the foam sheets that go behind this and stick it onto the back, and then when you cut it out, it'll actually be raised up from, it's like a dimensional but a full sheet. So you can cut it out with the, I tried that with the horizons with the fence, and it turned out so cool. Okay, so there is that. We're going to set that aside so it can dry a little bit. And next we're going to work on our little background. So I am going to use one of these little soft bristle brushes. These come in a pack of 3, but we are going to start with the sunshine. So I have right here a teeny Stampin' Spot, and this is Bumblebee. So we're going to open this up, and I'm just going to tap my little brush on there, and then right here in the corner I'm going to make like a little spot of sun. So it didn't quite go as round as I wanted it to, but I can try again. So we'll just get some little bright sunshine in the corner. Okay, and then we'll swirl our brush around to get any extra ink off. I might not get it all off, but they come pretty clean. And now we're going to switch to our next color, which is Balmy Blue, and we're going to make some sky. So we'll open that up. You know what? I need to put this little die away before I lose it. Let me do that real quick. And then we're going to tap on that blue. And then we'll start our swirl off the page, and we'll just swirl around here and get some blue in the sky. And it may take a couple times, but that's all right. Okay, here we swirl around our blue sky. And this time maybe we'll start from this side. Swirl it across. We're just making a nice little background for our greenhouse to sit in front of. Okay, I think that's probably good for our sky. And next, we'll swirl that around a little bit on the edge. Try to get some of that extra ink off. We're going to switch to this mossy meadow for the grass. I love those little ink spots. I have so many from my paper pumpkin that a lot of the times if I go somewhere to craft, I'll just take those little spots instead of my full ink pads, because really it's a lot lighter to take all of those instead of my regular size ink pads. Okay, and now we're doing the same thing with the mossy meadow. We're just making some a little grassy area here at the bottom. And I really like these blending brushes. I didn't know if I would like them at first because I really love just sponging, but I'm getting used to them, and the more I get used to them, the more I like them. I really like too when we had a sponge roller. I like the roller. But you did have to replace those after a while, so these brushes you can actually wash. All right, so there's our background. We can put our Mossy Meadow ink over here to the side. And let's see, this is gonna go right in the back. So we can turn it over and add our glue again. Now, if you don't like the liquid glue, you can use whatever adhesive you have. And we're just gonna put this right in the middle. So that can be our background. Oh, see, then it even scooted when I didn't want it to. There we go. And that's right in the middle. And then I took my Wink of Stella brush, and it's just a little sparkle brush, and I put some sparkle in the sunshine. And you can do that too. It just adds a little sparkle up there in the corner. And this Wink of Stella brush will almost work like a watercolor brush too. Sometimes it will pull the color from those water-based inks. So you have to be a little bit careful if you go over something else. Okay, so there is our background. I don't know if you can see that little sparkly sunshine up in the corner, but I thought it was really wonderful. Now I have a little piece of crumb cake, and this is just a leftover scrap. It measures 1/2 inch, and we are going to cut a piece off of this that is, I'm going to do 4 inches wide. I'm kind of playing with my numbers a little bit, so hopefully this turns out the way that I would like it to. This first one, I felt like the greenhouse was a little farther back than I want it to be, so I'm going to try and bring it forward just a little bit. So I'm going to put it at 3.5, and I'm going to score it there. And then I'm going to turn it around on the other side and score it at 3.5. Now, if I fold these ends, I'm hoping it's going to fit inside our card. And it will. Okay, so now what we're going to do is turn our greenhouse over. We're going to add some liquid glue along this little piece. And we're going to attach it so that hopefully it lines up along the edges of this. So what I'm going to do is take my little greenhouse and I'm going to line it up with my grid paper, and I'm going to put this down to hold it for a second. And then I can line up my little lifter piece, for lack of a better term, so that it lines up with the grid paper as well, up here a little bit higher. And then when we put it in there, hopefully it'll be even. Whoops, not if I twist it crooked, it won't. Okay. Shh, you're fine. Go lay down. Okay, so there is that. we're going to take and then put some liquid glue on each side. Now you could use, you could also use tear and tape, which is a stronger adhesive, but I found earlier that the liquid glue worked just fine, because when I tried to pull it apart to move it a little bit, it was very stuck. So now, let's see. I kind of liked where this one sat, so we'll try to line it up so that its top is right in the right spot. So I can line up this one side here first and let it stick down a little bit. And then we can actually just fold this one over and it will attach right in the right spot. Can you guys see that? I'll move it up here a little bit. This was a great idea, Tina. I really like this bridge card, and I would definitely will make more of these. Okay, and then I'm going to fold it back the other way just to make sure my glue is sticking really good. Okay, and now I'm going to set that aside for a minute to dry again. Stop eating the tape. All right, and now we have a piece of white that is 3/4 inch by 5 1/4. And this is what I'm going to stamp my sentiment on. So I am going to stamp this sentiment here that says, "Hope your day is just right." And last time I stamped it off to the side a little bit, and I am going to stamp it more towards the center this time. So I don't know if that's exactly in the center or not, but it's close enough, I think. We could take our time and measure it out, but I'm not going to do that this morning. And we're going to stamp that in crumb cake. And I think that's so cute. All right, now I'm going to clean off my stamp. I'm definitely hoping to get a lot of stamping time in today. This is the first day that I've been at home with no real obligations, besides I need to do the regular stuff like go to the bank, you know, get dinner out, get that ready. Okay, and now we're gonna take this little leaf here that I die cut this one out ahead of time. And this is, I'll show you, this is this one here. I really like these little skinny leaves. I think I'll be using them a lot. Okay, and we're just gonna stick this down so it doesn't move away. And on the back of this little leaf, I'm gonna put a little bit of glue just over here. And I'm actually going to stick this in between my background and my sentiment, just like this. And I'm going to turn this over. move my magnet out of the way. Now, if you have a Stamparatus and you are using the magnets, be really careful with them because they're very strong. I almost never have two on the table at the same time because they will snap together and sometimes break. So then we're going to line this up so that it sits in the center of our strip, just like that. We have our little leaf here that we've already cut out, so we're going to turn that over. Add some glue to that. And this one, we are going to stick right on this side over here. And you do want to be careful not to get any glue on that little edge of that leaf because it will stick to this back part and make it not open very nice. Okay, and now we can flip over our sentiment and add glue on either side. You do not want to go across the middle, just on either side. Uh-oh, I think I'm out of glue. Oh, nope, there's just a little bit left. Hopefully I can get through just this one card. I do have more bottles of glue though. All right, and then we're going to put this all the way at the edge, and it's going to stretch to the edge on either side. Just like that. Now that I think about it, we could have even done little vines on the sides in there. But it's enough. I think it's enough. Okay, and now I have these two little flowers that I cut out. We're going to turn those over. And I'm going to add a mini Stampin' Dimensional to the back. Evidently, I need a little more coffee. My words are a little jumbly this morning. And we can peel the backs off of these. And don't forget to sign up for my email list, and I will send you a PDF with these instructions. I try to send out one PDF a week with instructions in it for either my Stampin' Sunday card, or like this week I didn't have Stampin' Sunday, so we'll have coffee and a card. So there are little flowers, and then I added some more Wink of Stella to the little flowers because who doesn't like a little extra sparkle on the front of their card? I just thought it made the flowers really cute. Okay, there is that. And now I have to show you that I just got these. These are Silver and Clear Epoxy Essentials. And I thought at first that I would not need them because I love the regular Stampin', now I can't think what they're called. You know, the little round circle gems. But these are so pretty that I really like them a lot. Okay, so they have these ones here that look like little raindrops. They have these crafting on Saturday. I need to double check, Jillian, because I have a Girl Scout event this weekend and I think I'm gonna miss Saturday. we're supposed to be at camp. And I probably would rather be crafting because it's supposed to be kind of wet and cold, but there were only so many dates available and I had to pick one, and I think Saturday is the one. But I will double check that and I'll get back with you. I'm pretty sure it is on Saturday though, because it had slipped my mind completely for a little while. It's been happening with a lot of things lately, and I don't know how to get back to where all my life is in order. I can't figure it out. Okay, so I will pick up these little teeny gems, and we can just place them right along here. Whoops, that one didn't stick down like I thought it would. 2. Aren't these so... Oh no, that one's stuck in the wrong spot. Let's see if I can get it up. I was going to say, aren't they so pretty? But it's stuck on the wrong spot. Oh, it did come up just a little bit. Maybe I can get it to... Oh dear. There we go. Hopefully nobody will notice that little tiny. I can scrape that little teeny bit of glue off of there. Get out of there, guy. Okay. So there is that card for today. I know, I'm sad about it too. I wish I could be there, but we'll just have to reschedule, and I'll figure out a time, because I know that my camping time is 10 to 3. So that's going to kind of take up the whole day, pretty much. And by the time I get done there, I'm sure that Thelma would already be getting ready for bed. By the time I get home, because it'll take me an hour to get home, it'll be 4 o'clock. It'll be late. So maybe we could do Sunday instead. Thanks, Anne. Okay, you guys, I'll be sending out the tutorial for this week. I'm going to go work on it while I take the dog outside, because she's been complaining a little bit at me, and I'm assuming that's what she wants to do. Have a great week, everyone. I will see you on Sunday for the next Stampin' Sunday card. If you can send up some happy wishes for me tomorrow, I'm having a little procedure on my leg, and I could use all the happy thoughts I could get. So have a great week. Happy stamping. I hope that you will post soon a bridge card of your own. I'll see you guys later. Bye.